In this video, we'll look at how to factor a cubic polynomial by common factoring first. A lot of students forget to common factor first, so let's do that. Notice that this equation has a coefficient that's divisible by 3, and all the terms are divisible by 3. Furthermore, when you see a negative leading the polynomial, factor the negative. So we're going to remove a common factor of -3 from this polynomial. We keep it around, but it becomes this coefficient in front, or this greatest common factor. And now divide each thing by -3. You get x cubed minus 2x squared. 15 divided by -3 will be -5, or -5x. And -18 divided by -3 is +6. Notice that each of the terms, I should say, signs, has switched, and we've got everything divided by 3. Okay, now we'll do, like the other videos, factor theorem. Let's try something simple, maybe like x equals 1. That's going to be a pretty good guess just looking at these numbers here. I'm going to not use this -3. I'm just trying to find a factor that works here. So let's see what happens when we sub in. We get 1 cubed minus 2 times 1 squared minus 5 times 1 plus 6, which equals to 1 minus 2 times 1 squared is 2 times 1, which is minus 2, minus 5 plus 6. And that's nice. 1 minus 2, -1. I get -6 plus 6, which equals to 0. Beautiful. I've got one that works. Use synthetic division. My 0, this 1, goes on the outside. And notice I use the coefficients here. Just the 1, -2, -5, and 6. This -3 is going to stick around, but not for the synthetic. It's just part of the factored part of the equation. Again, I'm hoping that you've already watched a polynomial video, and that you've watched synthetic division. If you don't know synthetic division, please watch that video. I'm going to bring down this 1, and I'm going to multiply. -2 times 1, or -2 plus 1, now I'm going to add, and I get -1. Now I'm going to multiply. -5 times plus -1, and I get -6, and now I'm going to multiply, and now I'm going to add. So it's bring down the 1, and then I multiplied, add, then I multiplied, then I add, then I multiply, then I add. And now I've got a polynomial. These are my remainder, so that's my constant. These are my x's, this is my x squared. You don't have to write it, but it's nice if you do. So we have, and now when you write f at x, you still have that -3 sticking around, and now we have the corresponding factor of +1, which is the factor x minus 1. For this 0 of 1, that's the factor, and we're left from our synthetic division with x squared minus x minus 6. Probably could finish down here, but I'll go up. And on the side, I'm going to do my work, show this work. If you don't know how to factor, a video called Bergman technique. Here I'm trying to find what multiplies to -6 and adds to -1. I'm not using factor theorem anymore because I got a quadratic. Just factor this like a quadratic. What multiplies to -6 and adds to -1? The numbers are -3 and 2. And when you times those together, you get -6, and when you add them, you get -1. And so I have f at x equals a -3 and x minus 1, and then an x minus 3 and an x plus 2. Good thing I put this in a box to separate it from my work so I don't get a communication error. Let's review what we've done here. Factored out the -3, the common factor. Then I did factor theorem. I tried x equals 1, got lucky on the first try. Once factor theorem is done, use that 0 to do synthetic division, and then factor the quadratic as normal. Don't forget to common factor first if you can. Pull out a common factor if you can, and if a negative leads, common factor the negative.